Steve loves his PI.
It's all about a love-hate relationship with PI.
You're a clicker, you know what?
It's where I got all my money from, and that was doing it in high sec. PI, more or less from when it started, but serious for 7 years.
Oof.
What sort of disk is PI a month nowadays, roughly?
As long as you can get rid of it, which is not necessarily guaranteed because there's more and more people doing it, it's... I was getting... right. I was doing 3 lots of tier 4 stuff, and I was making 72 units of each one of those tier 4s. And I was clearing about 1.6 billion every 4 days.
Damn.
But, you know, that was like doing a full-time job. It was a good 7 hours one day just to pick it all up. And then every single day without fail, it was an hour and a half to fill up everything. So it was a lot. It was a lot to do.
Yeah, so when I did PI, it was like check it once every day or two, maybe.
Yeah. I've just got, you know, so obviously I've got a load of time at the minute, but, you know, sort of, I won't be anywhere near what I'm doing now. And I've got a lot on my plate. I'd love to get like a PI group together, so that I don't mean to be sounding big-headed or do it my way or else, but, you know, sort of everybody's doing, or people are doing PI, but they're just doing what they want, and then they're all trying to sell it. So there's no actual record about, you know, sort of what we've got, what we need, things like that. People tend to bolt for the most expensive thing, sell it, and we've got shitloads of that, we don't need it, basically. Or, if you do know things about PI, certain things are used a lot more than others. So the lower end stuff, like your bacterias, especially your oxygen and your reactive materials, they're cheap because it's all based on jitter prices, but they're used 5 times as much as everything else. So it's 5 times easier to sell it than the higher tier stuff.
Yeah, they're used all the way up the chain as well. I think the oxygen is used in tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4.
Yeah.
So,
like it's sort of your PI stuff, it's used mainly to build structures, but it's used a lot in T2 reduction, full stop. So, you know, your rocket fuel, your guidance systems, robotics ain't just used for fuel blocks. They're used loads in shipbuilding and mod building.
one for my missiles and a couple of the Tech 2 ships as well at the moment. The rocket fuel going. I'm also making the synthetic synapses for making. I'm making the nanite repair paste for my own, because it's really quite expensive when you're fitting out chips and you're trying to put 50 or 100 nano paste in there, and you have to buy it. It adds up quite a bit because it is quite expensive for individual items.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, like if you do travel backwards and forwards to X-Tech 7, take a, you know, even if you're in a interceptor, just take a whole load of nanite repair paste with you. You can fit shitloads, and then just put it on the market for about 38,000 a unit, and people buy it by the stack load. I've made a fortune on that.
Yep.
I'll let you into a secret. I tend to nip backwards and forwards to Empire in a blockade runner. If you fill that up with nanite repair paste, or a can, I just make the maths easier. So that's 3,900 M3 in a can, a giant secure can. Now, that means that you can transport 390,000 units of nanite repair paste, which means that it's roughly about 7.5 billion, and that's selling it in jitter. You get a squidgy bum trying to run it back to jitter, but it takes a hell of a long time to make that much. But
yeah, yes, once my production lines kind of, just in this, I have 2 tunes that have the PA, and there's one more that I can make a couple of plans with, and I haven't filled out the first 2 tunes yet. 4 plans in each one that I can make, I can put on the extra 1 plans. But yeah, it's taking a little bit longer than I expected to get all the operations going. Even things like in one station, I was getting, we get certain kinds of missiles for 1,000 in Vita, and we were able to sell them for 3,000 in a certain place, and within a day, 24 hours, we could sell 500,000 missiles. And once I started making them, it'll be even cheaper. I was end up making 300-400 million in the course of the day. Simple one back and forth with 1,000 intrigue fighter.
it's all down to the only thing that's worth anything in Eve. It's very similar to cryptocurrency. The only thing that's worth anything is time. Everything else is negligible. It's, yes, sort of jitter market puts a value on things, but if you don't put the time in, you don't make the money. It's that simple.
So you get a couple of hack stuff, a couple of ships that I can pick up for 70 million less, spend 10 million on the minerals and make 60 million of it off, and regularly sell them at $1 million a pop, and regularly sell them. But you do need to spend the time on, for manufacturing, especially on getting those tech, up to those Tech 2 ships really, and the ones that we use to the doctrines. And once you're putting out doctrine ships, and people are buying them off the market, and then they get an SOP, they buy them again on the market, and you're making a steady income week in, week out, and especially in a large coalition like Panther, because there's so many ops ongoing. They're making a load of money off things that the Cormans use, or the Jackals use, or the Feroxes use, as it stands now, or the units. It's money as well.
I'm waiting for Ferox Blueprint to come down. I don't know if I'll get it today though.
The thing with Feroxes here is quite a lot of them have been produced by the likes of Blackwatch or NC-Dot and others. So the Ferox market is quite heavily stocked and seeded at the moment. Maybe not as much in R10, but I would imagine it is, just because it's been a doctrine ship for so long. Whereas the likes of the Munions isn't as much jackdaws, or die a lot more, so those things will go a bit more. But you will see spikes of people buying them just because there's been a big battle and there's been 120 of them lost or 150 of them lost, whatever. I'm hoping to take down 15, 18 fucking Feroxes down to X-Tac 7 and another 10 characters or so. I have them ready for some point this weekend. Hoping they'll go pretty quickly down there. Because I mean, the faster you can make as much of the stuff as you want, but if you have it sitting around in your hangars for 2, 3, 4 a week, 2 weeks or whatever, it's not much good. get the stuff that sells quickly, even if you make 10% less than you hope to make up. As long as profit comes through. Quick profit. Because as soon as you have the money back, you can put it into other things.
Drive active.
I'm going to have to get into a better habit of selling a certain part of my stock at least to the corporate. It is a handy influx of money coming in. So when I'm using a lot of my minerals and the industry and stuff like that, but I used them quite a bit ago. I'm not getting the immediate returns.
Yep.
I have a load of stuff, like parts of reactions and stuff like that put together to make Tech 2 chips, minerals to make certain Tech 1 chips and stuff like that, or Tech 1 chips made, but not fitted out, and they're just sitting there not actually doing anything yet, but I'd hang it. But yeah, 30,000 rocket fuel or whatever sitting in the hangar, and they're waiting to make second or tier 2 fucking missiles, and yeah, I haven't gotten my blueprint, my POs out yet to start making it.
Is your microphone on top of, like, is it up or something? Like,
No, I'm talking quietly because there's people in the house.
Okay, no, it's alright. It's just hard to understand sometimes.
And it's very late.
Whereabouts do you live?
Europe.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second.
So I'm guessing you're up late, not early.
Exactly. Well, I'm stuck at home. We're in lockdown here. Can't go any more than 2 kilometers from your house. So I worked for the last 5 weeks. So I'm getting into bad habits.
Yeah.
And yeah, won't be any for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So.
Yeah, I'm working from home more or less for the next 3 weeks, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a carpenter, I don't really have that option.
I'm attempting to work from home, but I work in a pub.
Yeah.
So I'm my only customer.
I was going to say, if you keep filling yourself drinks, you might have more problems than about all of this is it's a once in a lifetime thing, and people just can't help themselves but fall over at themselves at any opportunity to point the finger because it's not someone they'd usually vote for or whatever. It's just like, no one could have planned for this, no one could have prepared for it. The last time we had a pandemic was like World War One.
Hang on, sorry, check. Siphon a sadist is logged in RUF.
But no, there's a pandemic or near a pandemic every decade. As there has been one in the 60s, or the 70s, or the 80s, with AIDS, or the 80s, and 90s. So there's always something like this every generation. Last really big one was the Spanish flu. It was only seen in big one. Was the Europe. There's been big pandemics and North America. It's just, it doesn't happen in North America or England and middle of Europe or Western Europe. It's not considered big news or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though it does affect those populations as well. Generally not as much as this. But yeah, listen, no government in the country Europe have seen the extent of this happening when it came around to February, and now they're starting to point the gun and all the rest of it. They didn't realise the seriousness of it.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance because on the one hand, you don't want to understate the seriousness of something, but at the same time, you don't want to create hysteria. So I can understand why some people perhaps downplayed it at first while they were trying to understand, exactly what was going on. But yeah, it's like even in the NHS, we had no real idea that this was going to be what we're facing. It's going to be, 3 weeks ago we were saying best case we'd have 25 to 35,000 die. It's going to be much worse than that now.
Yeah, and remember this is only the first wave as well.
Yeah, but a lot of it, at the minute we're only recording deaths in hospitals. Once it gets into care homes, for example, it's pretty much going to set in and just work its way through, and yeah, so that's not good. And also there's the indirect deaths caused through sort of like delayed, because a lot of cancer patients that are terminally ill, for example, they're not getting treatment and stuff like that, because for the most part operating theatres or departments have mostly been turned into trauma, like ICUs, purely because they need the space, and also because they're the only other places in the hospital that have the capability of supplying that much oxygen to that number of people. So there's just no way of doing it, really. No way of like treating outside of like trauma and emergencies. There's just no way.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to hear on the fatality figures outside of the COVID-19, because the only figures they're getting is COVID-19 patients.
Yeah, it's going to be, for the UK, I would imagine direct and indirect would be well over 100,000.
Yeah.
Directly in America, they're looking at least 250,000. So yeah, it's going to be pretty bad.
And yeah, I think in the American case especially, that's going to be the first one of these things that really take a couple of times to burn out.
I'm waiting for the baby boom after it, because everybody's at home doing it.
Yeah, it'll be November time or something, wouldn't it?
Might get rid of a few crusty old conservatives. The only problem is everybody's going to be massively afraid of going anywhere near each other. We're going to release a couple of years after. We'll be sidestepping each other for the next decade.
Well, hopefully it'll stop scraggy little cunts coughing everywhere when they're in public and spitting and stuff like that. I'm sure, there's certain parts of my city, there's that many people spitting, it's probably going to be like Venice in a few years, or wherever it is that's got all the canals and shit. It's disgusting. There's still people that aren't taking it seriously, though. There's that Filipino president, or whatever he is, he's an absolute nut job. But he was basically saying, basically if you're caught in public and you disobey the police and military to like disperse and go home, they'll just shoot you.
Yeah, they shoot people for a couple of years. This guy is a bit of a nut job.
Yeah, he is off the walls insane. Fucking Trump, I think yesterday he was saying, oh yeah, America's past its peak, so we'll be opening again soon. It's like, dude, just stop.
He doesn't know how to stop lying.
No, it's just insane. Like, I feel sorry for people that live in America because, like I say, everyone's doing things differently, and you know, hindsight's 20/20. So we're not going to know what could have been done better until this is all settled down and we can actually learn from it. But you know, most countries are subsidising wages so that employers don't have to lay people off, and so people can not go bankrupt, basically. So I don't know what $1,200 is going to do, because like that's like a one-off thing, and
seems like attacking the more densely populated areas more than the rural.
Yeah, it's bound to happen that way though, because of transmission. You know, the closer people are, the easier it is to transmit. So places like London, for example, it was really, really late for them to stop using their access to the tube and stuff like that. Because stuff like that, it's just a breeding ground for it. Because they're now finding out that basically if someone has coronavirus and they cough, it can live in the air for hours. It can live on surfaces for days. So, you know, you could walk into an empty room and still contract it.
Lots of the hospitals are empty right now in the more rural areas.
Yeah.
But the care homes are having problems everywhere.
Yeah, it's really rough.
It's kind of strange. How in the hell do the care homes all have problems like that everywhere? That's just weird. It's almost like they figured it that way.
I don't know. I think it's because they're more at risk for it. A lot of people will get it and will be asymptomatic, so they'll have it and have no idea that they've got it, which is part of the problem. You know, because people will think, "Oh, I'm fine," and then they'll carry on.
They're under testing everywhere.
Yeah.
They don't want to admit how much it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big thing. Like, testing is important, but at the same time, there's only so much.
Getting over it and keep on trucking is more important.
Yeah, but knowing you've got it or haven't got it is kind of irrelevant, because if the people around you, you know, it's just one of them things where
everyone's gonna catch it.
Yeah.
Period. It's gonna go through everybody.
But that's the difficult thing, is that because most people will have it and have no idea they've got it. If they then just think, "Oh, I'm fine, I've not got it," and carry on as normal, they can still pass it on to people. So I think that's sort of part of the problem, is a lot of people feel that because they've not got it or they're asymptomatic, then, you know, that they're fine.
Well, everyone knew it couldn't be stopped. They're just trying to slow down everyone from having it all at once.
Yeah. It would be much worse. Say again?
But that's the thing.
No.
That's the thing, like, they reckon in Italy it's about 15 to 20 million people are that could potentially already have had, but it just couldn't affect them to such a degree that they needed hospital systems, whatever.
Yeah, see, this is a large reason why Italy and Spain are having such problems with it, because when we compare to Germany, a lot of people I mean, testing is important, for example, but the demographic that's been infected, that's contracted it, is massively different, which obviously has a huge effect on mortality rates. So the average age of people that are dying from it in Italy are 60, or contracting it, are 63, and the same in Spain, whereas in Germany it's 49. So obviously, the older you are, the worse chances you have of beating it. Whereas the younger you are, the higher chances you have of being asymptomatic and just shrugging it off and not even knowing, or it being extremely mild. So it's just little things like that. That's why, like, the politics of it just really annoys me, because it's not as simple as looking at everything in isolation and saying, well, they've got less deaths than us, so we must be doing something wrong. It's, you know, it's the chief scientific advisor here. He said it right in that it depends on the society that it enters into as much as anything else. Because if a country, for example, like Germany, if the government tells them to do something, for the most part, they seem to be, you know, okay, we'll get on with it, and, you know, that's what it has to be. Whereas in the UK, it seems like a lot of people just think they're smarter than that, and yeah, and this is the problem, or one of them. I get my test for it, I think, next Tuesday, so at least I'll find out if I've had it or not.
I'm going to go down to the quiet bit and watch some telly while I do the boring crap. See you later.
See you in a minute.
Fuse and Steve_Mac moved to quiet place. Fusion Scott _ Star Seeker left channel and disconnected.
is depleted.